Hello. So this experiment I chose to do with my oldest son, Humble. The outcome I'm trying to achieve is to keep him happy and entertained while working and going to school. So a little bit of background on the situation. Humble's father and I are not together, and so he spends most of his time either with me or with his dad. But currently he spends majority of his time with his dad, and so most of our communication is through FaceTime. And when we talk, since he's only 6, his attention is not necessarily focused on me. So some of the action steps I took for this experiment included talking for 30-minute increments or more, creating new ways to bond, and exhibiting positive emotions and words, such as smiling, because he definitely can read my emotions. Okay. Oops. The experiment. Okay, so this week when talking to Humble, I tried my hardest to not bring my work face into the conversation. Like a lot of the times, because he's my son, I am very vulnerable with him, and just it's harder for me to kind of hide those emotions because I also want him to share his emotions with me. And so this week I tried my hardest not to show him faces of tiredness and exhaustion and stress. And even still, I heard, what's wrong, mommy? You look so tired. So the next day I spoke to him, I really, really focused on having a smiley face, not bringing any emotions into it but happiness. I feel like it definitely makes a difference for him to want to talk if I'm, happy. And he likes seeing me happy and smiling. And so, as far as keeping his attention or his concentration, I took an idea from our other child, Meadow, who is also 6. And one day she decided that she wanted to play charades. Of course, they didn't know like the name of it, but just the actions. So, whenever I notice his attention is slipping, I try to pretend like an animal, or I'll make a noise like oink oink and be like, oh, what am I being? And they love it so much that conversations go from just being 10 to 15 minutes long because the attention's not there to going on for hours just from implementing that little game idea. And so I noticed that with active interaction versus just the original conversation, he's more eager to talk, and as well as sometimes he doesn't even want to get off the phone, which is visually rewarding instantly. So just by implementing these little things like smiling more and playing games while we're talking has helped a lot. With the high quality connections, I was very aware of how I looked, how I sounded, and worded things. I was very conscious of his emotions and his needs, and was able to put my emotions, especially the negative ones, away. And with high quality connection, it allows you not to focus just on the strengths of others, but it shows you how your actions affects how that person uses their strength. And so the reading gave an example of a manager who he had just coming into the business and replaced someone else. And so that other person had set a precedent for that company. And then when he came in, he was kind of neglecting one of his employees. And so that particular employee went around talking to the other employees, trying to figure out what exactly he had done wrong. And it wasn't that he had done anything wrong, it was just the way that the manager was going on about his day. And so, just from him neglecting that one, the whole environment, all of the employees really kind of got into a funk. And so, what I learned from that is when I recognize the strength of one of my children, I'm able to do it for all the other ones as well. And they see the love and appreciation I have for them as individuals when I take the time out to love them as so. Not just coming home and being like, oh, the kids, but being like, oh, Humple's great at this, and Meadow is great at this, and Purpose is great at this. And so when we combine those streams, what kind of great outcome can we get from that? And so I've learned that something just as simple as a smile or a high five means the world to them. It's some type of recognition on their strengths. And also that if I give them a positive environment to grow up in, they will be able to have a foundation to exercise their strengths and also be able to bring out the strengths in the people around them, which is ultimately the goal. So yeah, I really appreciated this experiment. It worked immediately, and I look forward to implementing more techniques to bring my family closer together.